All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Cody, and I chose to do the older adult interview with my uncle DC. May or may not be his real name. All right. So a little bit about DC. So he's currently living in Southern Utah with his wife. He's retired. He used to work for Caterpillar as an engineer. And he's been in Utah for a while now, and that career took him mostly in the U.S., but he lived a little bit in Germany as well. And so one of the first questions I was able to ask him was about like some health procedures in the last 10 years. And the biggest thing that I noticed is that he used to wear hard contacts until he had cataract surgery. And so now he just wears glasses. I had no idea his vision was that bad. And also, he had one of his kidneys removed. And so now he only has one kidney and he has to go get yearly checkups for his kidney. And then he also has a disease called alpha 1, but he's had that for several years. So those are the two biggest procedures, but he also has to take oxygen every night from oxygen tank and injections of antitrypsin because those two will help his lungs, which alpha 1 disease affects his lung capacity. And so another thing that I was asking about was stresses in life. And so before he used to be stressed about just some things like providing for his family, making sure he was able to have enough money. And that's pretty relatable as like, I mean, that was several years ago. And so I know I and many of us are stressing about that now as well. But now his current stresses aren't anything to do with that. They're more about getting his work done. Like he loves working with his hands. He has a woodworking shop in his basement. It just stresses him a little bit because of his physical um, state right now. What used to take 2 hours may take at least 5 or 6 hours now. So that kind of frustrates him and stresses him a little bit. And what's kind of crazy is that the alpha one hit him pretty early, and so he considered himself old at 46 years old because he could no longer play basketball, which he used to love to do, and he was just huffing and puffing anytime he tried to do lots of exercise. And the crazy part is that he didn't actually get diagnosed with alpha one until he was 58. So that's 12 years. That's crazy. And I was able to ask him about some kind of tips that he's learned throughout his life. And the first couple, be respectful and listen to others, are pretty important to him because he said he considered himself a pretty hot head. And so he feels like if he was more respectful and able to listen to others, he would have done better in not only his career, which he did great on, but he felt like he could have done better. And he felt like he could have just been a better leader in general. And a lot of the attitude stemmed from just like competition with his brother. His older brother was always number one, became a doctor, and so he felt like he was always comparing himself. And that's another thing. He emphasized the importance of not comparing ourselves to others. And that also the last one right there, making the best of our situation. I mean, he realizes that maybe he's not in the best physical condition and whatnot, but he's still making the best. Still trying to do what he loves, even though maybe it takes a little longer. I mean, he's making the best. He's having a good attitude, and that I was able to ask him about the most influential and most important historical event in his life, and he said it was actually 9/11, and that is because he used to travel a lot for his work, and so travel just switched and changed completely after the unfortunate 9/11, and that kind of surprised me a little bit, I guess, because I didn't really know what travel was like too much before 9/11, and so just to think that that one event affected it that much is kind of crazy. And also a couple other things I was able to reflect upon is that aging can be easier with a good attitude. Even though my uncle, he had many physical problems, he's still making the best and trying to have a good attitude every day. And he says that's kind of helped him as he's gotten older, is having that positive and optimistic outlook on life. And finally, that COVID-19 has a lot of effects on older adults. Not just the fact that they're scared of getting it and they have a higher chance of dying when they do get it, but also like a lot of doctors' offices shut down for a bit or had limited capacity. And so like my uncle, a lot of older adults had just appointments and checkups canceled just for routine visits. And by canceling some of those routine visits, it's very possible to have a negative effect on their health because maybe they need to change some doses of medicine or anything like that. And so COVID has just had a huge effect on older adults. And so this opportunity to interview my uncle has been great and very enlightening. And I was very appreciative of this project.